What's going on? Welcome back to another video. My name is Steve, the founder at Adstruct, and today what I want to be covering with you is 10 reasons why your general contracting business is not growing. Now, you may think that all of these rely around marketing. Most of the time, or most of them do, but not all of them. So I will go through all 10. I'll explain every single one in precise detail. And on top of that, how to fix these problems that you might be experiencing in your GC business yourself. Now, the first reason is that there's no clear marketing strategy, right? Now, a lot of GCs that we speak to, they are only relying on referrals. They get their leads and their jobs and their work from nowhere else except referrals, word of mouth, their sphere of influence, absolutely nowhere else. The problem with that is that one, it's inconsistent. Two, it's not sustainable. Three, it's unreliable. And four, if you don't have an actual marketing plan in place, you're invisible to the people who actually need you. When you started your GC business, you're most likely local. You're probably not a giant franchise. And you're doing this for the betterment of your community, right? But you're only able to help so many people if no one can find you on the internet. So if you don't have social proof online, your leads go to your competitors. If you don't run paid ads, you're missing predictable lead flow, right? So if you do want to actually get seen online and actually get leads in the door that have never met you before, yes, it's a different sales process. Yes, it's a little bit more difficult to close them. That's how you're going to expand. You're not going to grow consistently if you just rely on referrals. You will for the first couple of years, but after that, it's going to become really, really difficult. So the fix for this is just developing a marketing system that generates leads every single week, whether that is through social media ads, Google ads, partnerships with other GC companies, SEO. Just get online, get more reviews, get more social proof, get more eyeballs on your actual business. The second reason is that you have a weak online presence, right? Now, when I say weak online presence, what I mean is that you at least have a presence. Like maybe you have a Google business profile, maybe you do have a website, but it's outdated or it's not optimized for mobile, right? 90% of traffic to websites on the internet are from mobile phones. So if your website stinks or it's ugly or it's outdated or it loads slow, you're losing trust just like that. So you want ideally at least 20% of the people that go to your website to turn into a lead. Anything below that is bad. And there's some websites out there where the conversion rate is literally zero. So that's definitely something that should be fixed. Your digital footprint is your modern day storefront. People judge. Unfortunately, as humans, people do judge. They're quick to judge. So the fix in this is to invest into a clean, modern website that has clear calls to action, professional photos, and proof of past projects as well. So you definitely want to have a good website online, and you definitely want it to be seen with SEO and on Google Maps too. The third reason is you have poor lead follow up. Now, this is actually a very simple fix, believe it or not, but pretty much speed to lead is key. There was a restoration business owner who, in an interview, said that he closes 55% of his leads. Okay, of his leads. That's not of like he 55% of them turn into a booked appointment. He closes 55% of his leads. The reason he does that is because he has someone who he pays 60 grand a year to, and their only job is to sit in front of a computer, wait for leads to come in, and call them the second that they come in. And he gets probably 2 or 3 leads a day, right? So he's closing like a sale a day in his business, in his restoration business, which is huge. So you definitely want to have quick lead follow up. Speed to lead is key. Different things that you can implement for that are automations. So when a new lead comes in, you get a text message or someone else does that allows you to call them right away, right? You can also have an automation in place where if a lead is generated and they call you but you don't pick up, then they automatically get a text back that says, "Hey, sorry we missed your call. We'll call you back soon." Right? A lot of different ways you can go about it. But third reason why your business might not be growing is because you have poor lead follow up. The fourth reason is there's no differentiator. So what makes you stand out as a GC, right? There's a lot of things you can do, and it's everything. It's your price, it's your color, it's your website, it's your online presence, it's the number of reviews, right? Like, what's the distinguishing factor that should make someone clearly want to go with you, even though you charge double the price? you do have to figure out what that is. So the fix is identifying what's your signature difference. Maybe you have a better offer. Maybe you have better financing options. Maybe you have better warranties, better guarantees, faster build times, faster completion times, unique design approach, right? It's of many, many things that can differentiate your business. And you got to figure out what that is for you specifically. The fifth one is inconsistent quality control. Now, this is huge, right? Any good business, it doesn't matter how good the marketing or the sales is. If you don't have a good product or service, you're not going to last for more than 5 years. So the thing is that you don't want to be doing like even like 9 good jobs and then 1 bad job. So for every 10 jobs you do a bad job on one. You don't want to do that. You want to have consistency in the delivery of your service, right? So, and this is important for a few reasons. One, it's word of mouth, because one bad job you do can spread like wildfire. The other reason is because it can leave a bad review online. So if a bad review gets left online, that can tarnish your reputation really, really bad. And it can make the difference between your Google business profile saying 5-star review and like 4.7-star review, depending on how many reviews you have, right? So the fix for this is definitely create strict quality control checklists and review every single project before you actually hand that off to your crew. You always want to make sure you're doing a good job, right? Me, myself, I'm not a GC, but what I will say is that I know for a fact the quality of the work is super, super important. The sixth reason is that your pricing is out of alignment, right? So this is a tricky one because you never want to base your service on price. You want to base it on value, right? How good are you at what you do? At the same time, though, you don't want to overprice yourself and then just get outbidded by everyone else, right? Because you might have a client that's qualified, but maybe they can't afford a little bit above what you're charging, then you're going to lose them to the guy that's charging a little bit less than you. So you don't want to take that hit, right? Because you want money so that you can reinvest into the business. Cash flow is king, right? So you don't want to overprice. You don't want to overpromise and underdeliver. You want to make sure that you're pricing your services at what the accurate price is based on your value and your experience. For you, that might be your license. For you, it might be there's no subcontractors, right? So to fix this, definitely research your market, adjust pricing for both the competitiveness and the profitability, and also make sure your offer communicates the value that you provide. In construction, the pricing is huge when it comes to the offer. It can make a really big difference. So if it's out of alignment, it's really going to screw up your margins, your cash flow, your consistency, and it's just going to make you basically not have that stable growth that you are looking for. The seventh reason, and I see this kill so many contracting businesses, is they over rely on 1 or 2 projects. Full transparency, I used to do this in my own business years ago, where what would happen is I would have a client and I would sign them up for a 3-month contract. I would sign a few up all at once, and then I would stop signing customers because I was like, all right, I'm good for the next 3 months. But then month 2 would finish, I would have 1 month left with them, and I'd be like, oh my god, the next month I might do $0 in revenue. So you don't want to over rely on 1 or 2 projects, right? Because one might cancel, okay? One might pull out at the last minute. And the other thing is that you have to constantly be building your pipeline, because if you're not, then again, what happens to you is what happened to me. You're going to get to a point where you're like, oh my God, I need to start doing marketing and sales. So never stop doing marketing and sales. That's kind of another way of saying what number 7 is. Don't stop filling the pipeline. You constantly want to be doing that from different channels, whether that's referrals, ads, SEO, etc. Right? So don't rely on 1 or 2 projects. Diversify your pipeline so you have multiple projects lined up. Be months booked out. The 8th reason why your GC business is not growing is because you have a weak team or a weak contractor network. Not every contractor slash, well, I mean, I guess every GC is, but not every contractor that specializes in one thing can specialize in something else. So for example, if you remodel houses, right, you might need a plumber and electrician. If you don't have that license and you can't do that, and you don't have a network of people that can do that too and help you out with that and come in on that project, kind of screwed, right? So you want to make sure that you have that network. And then when it comes to the weak teams, just basically hire good employees, right? Don't hire people that drink on the job. Don't hire people that show up late. Don't hire people that, just they can't even do basic things. And because what happens is they end up costing you money because they make a big mistake on the job site that can just crush the margins right away. So your team is everything. One business owner once said to me on a call, I think it was something, I'm going to paraphrase it, but they said something to me that was like, you know, I can grow my business to $100 million a year myself. Well, they can't actually do that, and they would be able to do that if they could duplicate a bunch of, if I could duplicate a bunch of me's, I could grow my company to $100 million a year. The problem is always people that hold you back. And that's why you want to have good people, good employees, and a good, reliable, trustworthy crew. The ninth reason your GC business is not growing is because you have no systems or no processes in place, right? Winging it works when you are small. When you are a one-man show, you might have 2 or 3 employees. It works because you're just kind of, taking whatever money gets thrown at you, right? But that's going to break so fast when you do try to grow. At scale, when you have a lot of customers and a lot of projects going and you are just winging things, it's like it creates so many headaches because the customer might not know what's going on with the communication. Your employees might not know the standard operating procedure for when, XYZ situation happens. Everything needs to be documented and everything needs to be systematized. The sales process, the follow-up process, the lead generation process, the crew, the recruitment process for your crew, for hiring people, the fulfillment process on the projects, everything needs to be systematized and documented because that's also what's going to allow you to step outside of the business rather than working in on it. And everything, project management, sales, client community, all of it all needs to be documented, standardized, give it to people for training, train them up, and eventually you'll be able to step out and stop being so labor intensive inside of your company. The 10th and final reason why your GC business is not growing is because you are not tracking any key numbers whatsoever. You don't know any metrics in your business. You do not know I mean everything, man. The percentage of people that close, the close rate, the percentage of people that book an appointment, so lead to book call rate. How profitable is each specific project? What's the ROI on your marketing? You're probably, if you're not tracking the stuff, you're really just guessing. You're guessing on everything. And data is what tells everything. I mean, you can actually become a stable business owner and have a stable company if you don't track anything. Like if you're just guessing, but you're never going to scale at all because if you don't know, for example, your close rate, that also means you don't know how many leads you need to get one sale. Because there's a difference between having a 10% close rate and a 30% close rate, or let's say 33, just to keep it simple. Because if I have a 33% close rate, that means I only need three leads to get a sale. But if I have a 10% close rate, that means that I need 10 leads to get a sale. Huge difference in how much money you have to spend on ads, how much time you need to put into each prospect. So if you're not tracking anything, you don't know what you need to do to grow. And that's the problem. That's why metrics tell the story, not words. So track your KPIs monthly. That's how you fix it. So you can make data-driven decisions instead of emotional ones. And these are the 10 reasons why your general contracting business is not growing. If you are a general contractor and any of these reasons are why you're not growing, or you are just looking for more help on your marketing in general, book a call using the link in the description of this video below. You can book a call with me or one of my consultants. They will walk you through our entire process. They will show you case studies of our most successful customers, and they will come up with a custom tailored game plan as to what we are going to do to help you grow and eliminate all of these reasons why you're not growing. Because if any of these reasons exist in your life or your business, because I'm assuming your business is your life, you need to get rid of it now and you need to fix it, and we will help you fix it. So book a call below. I will see you in the next video, and I appreciate you all.